guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today I'm going to make everybody angry. There's going to be people out there who love Donald Trump who are going to be angry, and people who do not like Donald Trump who are going to be angry. And that's okay, because I'm just giving you my opinion. And I'm glad you're tuning in for this opinion. It's just I'm watching everything as it's going on. I'm giving you how I think things are. And I may be wrong, I may be right, but I'm giving you my perspective. So thanks for coming in and tuning in. Before we get started, real quick, I got a whole bunch of homemade soaps in the other day from Grafted and Grace Creations. And I saw Travis on his video yesterday give a shout out to them. And I'm like, oh, I just got a new order of those in. And every so often when I run out of soaps, because she is my soap maker, this family that's in the Ozarks, it's a family-based business. And this one here is, you can't read the label, it's sandalwood and vanilla soap. Sandalwood and vanilla soap. My office smells fantastic right now. Lavender and tea tree soap. I get no kickbacks. There's no affiliate links. You can just go to graftedandgracecreations.com, and I'll put a link down below. Click on that and then order your soaps. But, you know, I order about 8 or 9 at a time or something like that. I just go and add to cart, go through and get a variety of them because they're all good. I haven't found one that I don't like yet, but and my kids like them too. So, and that's what we use for our soaps is soaps from that company, family-based business here in the Ozarks. So if you want to check it out, there's a link below or there's a link on the screen. Just Google it and you'll find it. Okay, so today, years ago, I was told by someone who was much wiser than me. I think it could have been Tim Oliver. I've talked about him sometimes on my channel. And it was back in my 20s. I was being a volunteer lobbyist in Jeff City and learning the ropes of politics and, you know, eventually being so disgusted with it that I wanted to get out of it completely. So he told me, he said, I think it was Tim, but whoever it was, he said, Zach, see, when an empire collapses, there's this pendulum that starts to swing back and forth. And each time it swings left and it swings right, but it gets stronger with every swing. Okay. And as I have grown up, I'm now, nearing 50. I'm in my 40s. And since my days in my 20s, I have, kept that in mind and watched the world around me. And I have found that to be true, that every election, every administration, the pendulum swings harder, either left or right, harder than it did before. And this is a progression. And he said that this was something that you will see when empires collapse. And I believe this to be true. So the reason I feel sorry for Donald Trump, because that's what made you click on this video, because you saw that title. The reason I feel sorry for him is because he's going to get stuck with this bag. I really think that. And there's a lot of things I really like about Trump. I really like the fact that he is like, hey, women's sports is women's sports. He's very vocal about that. He's been very vocal about a lot of things, about immigration, although I don't think recently that is as hardcore as it could have been, or as he talked about on the campaign trail. There's been a lot of policies that he has promoted, that he is in favor of, and he's even acted on, which other politicians have not, that I am extremely happy about. Defunding Planned Parenthood was one of those also. There's so many policies that he supports I really am happy about. And now there's a lot of things that he seems to be really backing off on. And the Epstein files are one of those things, because it's funny. Every time Kash Patel or Dan Bongino or Pam Bondi post anything on Facebook, on Twitter, they are immediately trolled hard by the comments saying, hey, Epstein files, where are they? And let me just go down this road real quick. I think anybody who is attached to this administration, if this administration does not tackle these issues, that one especially, the Epstein files, anyone attached to this administration has no political future whatsoever. Because the reason most of us voted for Trump in the first place was for the mere fact that he was not a politician. He's not a lawyer. He never went to law school. He never went to any of these places of extreme trash, where people in the swamp send their, all these people go to learn swampness. He never did that. In fact, one of the things that, made me like him off the start was long time ago, before he was really ever going into president, it was well known amongst people that, for example, I'll give you a couple examples. When he was a real estate developer in New York City. And so he would go to these developments, these buildings that were being built, and he would talk to the foreman, and he would talk to all these people who were in charge of this project getting done on budget. And he'd say, hey, how are things going? Oh, yes, sir. Everything's going great. Everything's going right on time. And so he understood that many times people in his position are surrounded by yes men. Yes men. Yes men. And so what he did, and this is, again, one of the things that people really admired about him and what has drawn people to him, is that he would go up to the guy in the building, who was actually welding on things or putting in plumbing or, putting in electrical. And he'd tap him on the shoulder and say, hey. And the guy would be like, oh, it's Donald Trump. He's like, hey, what is it you need? What is it you need to get your job done? Is anything standing in your way right now? Well, actually, yeah, I'm trying to get this permit for here, and I can't do this job because that's over. And so Donald Trump would go back to the yes people who said, yes, everything's great. And say, hey, it's not great. They're complaining about this. Fix it. Fix it now. And he made things happen. And that's why the little guy liked him so much, because he made their job easier. And I was in the military. When I was in the infantry, I was in an infantry company deployed to Germany and Macedonia, and we had officers, platoon leaders, very, very, in fact, I think there was one platoon leader in my I only served one enlistment, but during my enlistment, I had one encounter with a platoon leader who really cared about his soldiers, and he wasn't even my platoon leader. He was like third platoon leader. I was in first platoon. And so he was like, and one time we're in the field, and he's like, hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything? I'm like, no officer had ever asked me that before, because when you're a lowly, E2 or a PFC, these guys are like gods to you. They're supposed to be treated like gods at least. And so you're saluting them. You're scared if you offend them or something. They have the power to take your testicles and crush them into oblivion. And so and they don't care about you. You're like, are the men okay? Sure, they're okay. They're fine. The NCOs told me so I believe it. But here was an officer who comes to me and says, hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything? Are you okay? And he wasn't even my platoon leader, my lieutenant. That was rare. Very, very rare. It's a rare characteristic indeed of a leader. And that's what Donald Trump has done to endear so many people to him. Now, I think that he's got a lot of policies that he's promoted that he's backed off on. And that could quickly lose his base, because people hate DC already with a passion. The ATF is still operational. The FBI is still operational, which we know is an absolute corrupt organization. It's not been gutted from within. The Department of Education, as far as I can tell, is still working and operational. There is so many things he's backed off on that people are so angry about. And I just think it's something about the swamp. What is up with this? What is the deal with the swamp? The reality is the pendulum is swinging, and it's swung very hard right here, according to the left. And we have always been, in the last 30 years, we have been on a razor's edge with this economy. And all it needed was the boat to be tipped, for the boat to be rocked a little bit to get out of control. And boy, in the last week has it been rocked. We have absolute gold at all-time high. I posted on X the other day. I said, how long, when gold is at $20,000 an ounce, what will the price of gold of bread be? Because I've said on this channel before, I've told you, you will see the day where you will pay $10,000 for a loaf of bread. You will see that day. I've said before, years ago on my channel, you're going to see the day where people on the news media and the financial news start using the word quadrillion, and they're doing that now. Quadrillion. Not trillions anymore, quadrillion. You will hear that word on the news media, on the news cycle, in the financial news. So how long is it before bread is at $10,000 a loaf? What is it going to be when gold is at $20,000 an ounce? Because gold's at now $3,000, last time I checked, $3,200, something like that. It's at an all-time high again. Because the dollar is falling. The dollar has taken a nosedive in the last 36 hours. Why is the dollar taking a nosedive? Because countries all over the world, even our allies like Japan, are dumping the US dollar because nobody wants to get left holding that bag. Everyone's playing musical chairs, and everyone's sensing that the music could stop at any moment and they better get a chair. And so they're dumping these dollars, they're dumping these treasuries in order to get out of it and put their money into something a little bit more sound. Because people are losing confidence. That's why it's going down. They're losing confidence. They have no confidence in the US dollar because of our debt, because of our spending levels, and it just keeps going up. The bond markets are rising. We're now at like almost 5% in some aspects, depending on what year. It's a 3-year or 30-year. And I know people, they don't understand how that works. Bonds are just like IOUs. You're buying debt. It's like a savings bond. When you're a kid, and grandma, she's like, here's a $50 savings bond, Johnny. And, you get a $50. She went to the bank. She paid them $50, and they gave her an IOU that says one day when this bond matures on whatever year it is, we'll give you back the $50 plus a little bit of interest. It's a savings bond. No, it's debt. That's what it is. It's debt. You just bought debt. Well, all these countries, they buy debt, but they don't buy $50 savings bonds like grandma used to do. They buy them by the millions and the billions. And so they're like, you know what? This isn't going to be worth anything. If I'm going to hold this bond expecting a return on it, that's not going to be worth anything because the dollar is collapsing. I want my money back now and whatever I can get out of it. Give me back, because you can take a savings bond to the bank and get whatever you want for it right then, even if it's not matured. Sometimes you have to hold them for certain periods of time, I think, but most of them not. And these countries don't. So they're dumping them. Give me my money. Give it back fast. I don't want this anymore. And then all that money, the interest that was being paid to them comes back and gets repatriated into the United States. And boy, hyperinflation is on its way. I've said before, hyperinflation, it's a cake that's already baked. It's going to happen. And people on the YouTubes are like, oh, Zach's wrong. He's talking, it's going to be deflationary. No, it's not. It's going to be inflationary. We're going to see an inflationary collapse. That's what's happening right now. We are seeing there is no confidence in the dollar. We're losing it. And people are like, well, what's going to happen? We're going to need a giant reset. And this is how they're going to usher in a CBDC. But the problem is the CBDC will have no confidence. If the dollar is a fiat system. It's just make-believe paper money. And that's why it's losing confidence right now. We're realizing it has no value. And so people are dumping it. Well, now we have a CBDC, again, something that's fiat. The government has declared it currency. Where is its value derived from? Where does it get its worth? It doesn't. It's not going to instill confidence back in it. These countries are going to be like, oh, a CBDC. Well, that works great. I'll take some of those. No one's going to do that. Your way of life is over. It's over. And this is why I've been telling people this for years. I told you years ago, Dave Ramsey was a complete dolt when it comes to financial investments. He's great if you want to get out of debt. Has a great plan for that. That's what made him famous. But then he started giving financial advice. And he was telling people, oh, gold, you don't want any of that stuff. That's just a shiny rock that someone somewhere said, oh, whoop, get a little crazy. Somewhere someone said that it's worth money, but it's not. It's just a shiny rock. No, Dave Ramsey is a complete and total dolt. I've even done videos before where I showed him on video saying some of these ridiculous things, and he has a team of people that scours YouTube for any video clips of his show and then reports them to YouTube to have them taken down. And that's what happened to some of my videos where I showed the insanity he was spewing out of his pie hole. Dave Ramsey is a dolt. If you've taken financial advice from him and gotten into mutual funds, it's going to hurt. It's going to be huge. Okay, so CBDC is not going to be the answer, okay? There are no answers. There are no answers. And Trump is going to get stuck with this bag. Now, when that pendulum that has swung very far right because people did not like the direction that old Joe Biden was taking our country in, especially financially.
Come on, man.
They elected Trump. And so, okay, now we have Trump And this is going to go badly. Why? Because he did not recognize the one thing that probably maybe could have, even if we're going to experience some pain, the right kind of pain, and that would have been to end the Fed, end the Federal Reserve. And he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. I've said before many times on my channel, they will never stop spending money. They will never stop printing money. Congress is too addicted to spending money. And the Fed is too addicted to trying to level the playing field by printing money, whether it's for the banks or whether it's the public in general, it doesn't matter. They're never going to do those two things. And so we're doomed. The only way you could have done this possibly was to end the Fed on day one. And he hasn't ended anything yet. He's talked a big game on ending a bunch of stuff, but when he got to the swamp, I have not seen any department anywhere that has been completely shut down except USAID. I mean, USAID, okay. But I mean, and that saved a lot of money. But still, I mean, look at the new budget. We've gone another $2 trillion in debt. Thanks, we saved some money with USAID, but we're still another $2 trillion in debt than we were from the previous administration. Fantastic. They're not doing anything. And the pendulum will swing back left because he's going to get caught with the bag. And I feel really sorry for him because a lot of his policies, I really appreciate it. And when that pendulum swings very far left again, oh dear Lord, we are going to have some pain coming because those policies are going to be absolutely draconian. They're going to be the things you've read about. They're going to be absolutely horrible. And they're going to have the mandate to do it because of the total chaos that's ensued for the last 4 years of Trump. I'm worried. I'm very, very worried that we're getting into some really, guys, homesteading. I've often said this: when you push preparedness to its logical conclusion, you will always end up on a homestead. Many of you guys are preppers. Many of you guys like to consider yourselves as preppers. But when you push preparedness to its logical conclusion, when you do all you can do for preparedness, you should be looking around and finding yourself with chickens, with some animals, with a garden, with fruit trees, with nut trees, with all these things that make you a producer, that make you a commodity provider. You can produce things that people see value in. People see value in eggs. People see value in vegetables. People see value in meat. People see value in fruits and nuts that you can grow. These are things you need to put your time and money in. And guys, the music is almost stopped. It's almost over. If you haven't found yourself a chair yet, you better get moving, and I'm talking yesterday. Okay, now that's my spiel for the day. Let me know what you think below. Leave a comment. Guys, the reason I don't put ads in my videos midway, I hate that. I really, really hate that. I have found, by the way, and I'll give you a piece of advice. I have found that if you watch YouTube videos on your phone or on the computer, if you use Brave browser, it strips the ads out most of the time. And so I am doing that. Because I hate ads, mid-roll ads. I hate it. I don't like that. And it just ruins the video because you're on a topic and now I got to wait for 30 seconds to watch two, 15-second or 10-second ads and hit skip to get to the content again. I hate that. So I really appreciate when you share my videos and like my videos and leave a comment for the algorithm because that helps more people see it. And that's how I can make a little bit of mere pittance for the content that I produce. Also advertising things like the perfect pickler. Guys, everyone's prepared for the mutant zombie bikers that are coming up your driveway when the world ends. But the reality is mutant zombie bikers and wars in general, have killed far fewer than diet and disease has killed many people. And this is one of the reasons why Perfect Pickler, I think, it's one of the reasons why I thought it was a good idea to take this company on because I knew the days we were heading in. And I want people to be able to grow fermented foods, have fermented foods, because it's going to help you build a healthy immunity. So if you don't have a kit yet, go to perfectpickler.com and pick one up. Pick one up for a friend. You can get our recipe book, even if you have kits from other companies. You can even buy our recipe book and use our recipes on those products. So if you have that, just get a couple recipe books, pick them up, And then our patrons get these for free. You can find the QR code to download these for free if you're a patron. But then our value package is probably the best seller. And we're getting into more and more retail markets. We're getting in more and more retail markets all the time. So check out perfectpickler.com if you want to grow and learn how to do your own fermented vegetables, especially right now with all of the garden season coming in and people growing lots of different things that you can use in these kits. Also, when it comes to health, let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. Let me spiel my things because this is how I do my ads. Those of you who allow me to, shill a number of things that I try to provide for you some value. This is how I make my money. Okay. These two, I've been trying to give these away. You can join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You get access to these. The last time I checked on these, I think this one was like $400 or $500, and this one was like over $2,000. The reason they're so valuable is because they're out of print, out of copyright, and they have valuable information contained within. I give these to you for as little as $1. And the only reason I don't give them to you for free is because I have to pay server cost. But I would give these to you for free because it's so important. This is my medicine cabinet. It's got color photos of all the different plants that grow in your backyards. Okay, if you're in North America, there's all kinds of great stuff in here. You can search for these plants, tincture them, and then use them for all the things it tells you to use them for. It doesn't tell you how to make a tincture. Any video can tell you how to do that. That's easy. That's simple. You can learn that in 5 minutes. It tells you why you use the tincture and how to use the tincture. Okay, this was written over 100 years ago by a guy named Dr. A.B. Howard. This is something that the Rockefellers tried desperately to get out. So they tried to get this out of the public knowledge base, basically. Did you know that sassafras, the root of sassafras, is where they get root beer from, the flavor of root beer? But you're not allowed to use sassafras anymore because the FDA, in all of their infinite wisdom, has declared that sassafras, the root of the sassafras tree, could be harmful to you. People have been drinking this forever. Well, they found out that it treated a number of diseases back in the 1960s, and they said, oh, this is going to cut into our bottom line because we can't patent medicines when there's free things growing in people's backyards that people have been using for a long time to treat things with. We can't make money that way. So we'll come up with a study that says sassafras is actually harmful to you. And we won't tell them about all of the benefits anymore because we know now that they actually cures a number of diseases and chronic issues. And so that's what they've done over the last 100 years. They have gotten this stuff completely removed. If you watch some old movies, let me just go on a little bit of a spiel. This is a long one today before the weekend, right? You ever watch some old movies and you got a guy like in the 1800s, he's operating out of the back of a wagon and he's selling his medicine, the medicine man, and he sells, says he has a little spiel. He gets up on a stool and he's like, "Hey, this will cure anything that ails you." Blah blah. It's got blah 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 blah. And someone from the crowd raises their hands and says, "Hey, what's in it?" He's like, "Well, that's a proprietary secret. I don't want to tell you that." Do you know why the medicine man in those movies never wanted to? Because it's true. It's true. And you read about it in old books too. You know why they never wanted to tell you what was in it? Because if they did, everyone would know that it's all growing in their backyard for free and they can make it their own self. That's why. And the medicine man wouldn't be able to charge $1 a bottle for it. And Rockefeller comes along and says, "Hey, we're going to patent a whole bunch of these things. We're going to take them and we're going to alter these things and we'll do this to that to them and then we'll put them in a bottle and we'll patent it and they'll be able to make billions of dollars on it." And that's what they've done. So get this. Go to my Patreon. Join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You get access to these. You go up to the little collections tab and you can download these PDFs. And there's even a company listed there that'll print them for you because you want to keep these in a hard copy. You don't want to get these on the cloud and leave them on the cloud. You want these hard copies so when times get tough, like they're going to get, you have these, you can turn to them. And now this spring, start building your tincture library right now. I have been long building my tincture library and I share that oftentimes with people on Patreon. Okay, it's been 25 minutes. I am ranting. I just can't stop. I really feel sorry for Donald Trump because he's going to get stuck with this. I really think he's going to get stuck with this. And I think overall, for the most part, he's an okay guy. You know, nobody's perfect in this world. There is no one good, right? The heart is deceitful above all things. I get it. But I think for the most part, he's had a heart for the little guy. And that's rare amongst people today. And I think he's going to get stuck with this. I don't know what the swamp has done to him and what the swamp has done to all these people. But man, the swamp is a bad, bad place. And I think maybe it's going to be a good thing to see this collapse. It's going to be very painful, but I think it may bring us back down to earth in a lot of ways on how reality works, because most of us have been that Neo living in a dream world. All right, I'm done ranting. We'll leave it at that. All right, see you next time at the Homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.